And what's going on, everybody? Back into another live stream. Here we are, guys. We're gone from the bye week blues. We're back into an actual game week, man. Jaguars heading to Seattle to face on the Seattle Seahawks. Give a few shout outs. Shout out to Jose for the first one in here. What's up, man? Zach is whack. What's up, man? Mindset, polite cat. That dude, Evan, Alina's dad. What's going on? Charlie boy, what's up, man? Welcome everybody in here. I do have joining me right backstage. I have my guy Tom McManus. What's going on, Tom?
Hey, Dalton, how you doing, man? Good evening to everybody.
I'm good. I'm good, man.
Me too. Me too.
It's funny because, man, the Jaguars, they hurt us on a lot of Sundays, but man, I was missing that hurt last Sunday. It felt like an empty Sunday without the Jags playing.
You know, I think I speak for a lot of people. We wish they kept playing and seeing if the momentum would have kept going. And now they're off a week, and can they recapture it out in Seattle? That'll be the big test, right? But look at it two ways. You don't have the misery, so it doesn't put you in a bad mood if they don't perform well, and if they win, then you're in a good mood. But look, it was still a great weekend of football, whether it was high school, college, pro. I mean, it's so much football going on in our country, and it's really fun to watch. A lot of good football to watch.
Yeah, we're right in the thick of it right now, man. We're October, November, man. Don't take football for granted because when May and June is here, man, we're gonna be missing this time of year for sure. But Jaguars going into this game, man. They are 1-5, and coming up in Seahawks. The Seahawks are not very good right now. 2-5. They played Monday Night Football last night, put up 10 points. There's certain games this year where you say, okay, Bills, we probably have no shot of winning that one. Rams, maybe not that one, but there's some where you can. There's no games where you say that's a win, but you have games where it says that could be one where we can take advantage of. And really, with this Seahawks team coming in at 2-5, this could be a real shot for the Jaguars to kind of beat a Russell Wilson-less Seahawks. Yeah. What do you think?
I think on paper you're absolutely right. On paper they're the better team. Regardless of the record. Obviously, I would have a different opinion if Russell was playing. Geno Smith, look, if you give him time, he's adequate. I'm still like I'm just not sold on the pass defense, and it really bothers me. And I think teams are taking advantage of it. And I think they're going to continue to take advantage of it until we stop it. And how do we stop it? Well, there's no new personnel coming. It's a scheme, it's execution, it's attention to detail, it's all that stuff. So, and it's getting pressure on the QB. Look, if Geno Smith is allowed to hang back in the pocket and make throws, he'll make the throws. And pretty much any quarterback in the league will do that. So, hopefully that changes. Maybe it gets better. In the last 11 games of the season.
Yeah, there's certain things that aren't going to be correctable this year. Obviously, we're not going to get any more guys in here to kind of generate a pass rush, so that's going to kind of be what it is. One guy that I'm really going to have to be looking at really is Tyson Campbell because, he was a highly drafted cornerback. Our cornerback play these last 2 weeks have been terrible, have just been awful. And, we need somebody to step up. And, training wheels are kind of off for me, man. This guy played Division I football in the SEC. I don't know how much more time he needs to get acclimated, but he's around the ball. But really, this is a guy that needs to make some impact, especially this coming up Sunday with DK Metcalf. You have to go against also like Tyler Lockett. We have and that guy's a burner, man. And
they both are.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like I said, the personnel department is tough, and my main thing is like we just need more players to step up, really. And last couple of games been pathetic, but at the same time, the defense, they made plays when they had to. It seemed like they were kind of stopping it on 4th and goal or 4th and short and stuff like that. So there's certain things where there's certain moments where you have to step up. Maybe even some moments where you kind of get lucky. I think that's kind of what happened with the Dolphins, where man, there were so many opportunities that the Jaguars. Where I guess I should say the Dolphins squandered, just terrible coaching decisions. And I think going forward, Jaguars kind of had to take control of that. And it's tough with Seattle. Obviously, they're 2-5 on paper. But at the same time, they're a winning organization. They go to the playoffs like every year. I mean, they could eat a team like us alive. So we had to come in there with a solid game plan. Urban Meyer was able to. I don't know if you heard his quote, but he's like, "Yeah, it was cool. I actually watched some NFL games. It's cool to see how this league is run." I'm just like, "Yeah, I guess I do the same kind of thing." But yeah, we'll see what kind of game plan he can kind of bring on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's you got to take the Miami win in perspective. It's a great win. It was on the road. It was in a foreign country, so you had to deal with all that. So a lot of positives there. Can they continue on? After having the bye week and getting healthy. Again, it's hard to believe in this team to where you say, yeah, they're going to go out there, they're going to get the job done, they're going to find a way to win. I think we get a little convoluted because of Trevor doing so well and Trevor ascending and playing better, and that's great. I mean, that's awesome, but he's only one part of the puzzle. I mean, we got to have the other, more than one, group step up and perform at even his kind of level. So, look, it's great that the QB's doing well. I love J Rob. J Rob needs more touches. But look, at the end of the day, your team's 1-5, and you beat a team that's not very good. So to trust, that they're going to do anything is hard to do. Now, I'm a believer once you show me, you know what I mean? I mean, you show me that, yeah, okay, week in and week out, this is what we're going to get. I can't sit here tonight and say that, yeah, I'm confident they're gonna figure it out. Again, offensively, I've said it, Dalton. I'm very comfortable with our offense.
Yeah.
Trevor is getting better. He's becoming a superstar. J. Rob, I think, is a star. Our O line got a little leaky last week against Miami in the second half, but overall they've played very well. Where a lot of us thought they weren't going to play that well. So credit them for keeping them together. Marvin Jones has stepped up. Chenault has stepped up. Bevel's gotten a little better in his play call. So the offense is fine. Like, it still needs to get better. Don't get me wrong. We need more than 20 points a game. You need 26, 25, 27, somewhere around there. But this defense, again, they brought all these people together. And it's not – they made plays last week. Don't get me wrong. But they were terrible on third down. Terrible, over 50%. Tua coming off being an IR, we made him look like, he's this not incredible, but a really upper echelon QB, and maybe he will be at one point, but he's not now. So I get concerned about that. So look, if Russell Wilson was playing, we'd be singing a different tune. With Geno Smith being the QB, you have a chance. But if you don't change your ways, and that means getting to the QB on time and being consistent, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. They're going to find a way to make plays and convert third downs and keep moving forward. I'll say this. I think it's time to try other guys.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Especially at that right outside backer position. Maybe you do take Chase on and move him inside. Maybe move Miles outside. I don't know. Maybe let McCray rush the passer more. Maybe let the kid from UAB, Smith, give him a shot. Because something's got to give here, right? It's either scheme or it's talent. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Joe's calling a terrible game. He can only call what he can call. Guys got to make plays. They got to beat the guy in front of them. So if they're not, eventually, what do? You see what else you have. Yeah. Maybe it's time for a little bit of that.
And it seems like the offense is going in the right direction. It feels like the offense is getting better every week, but the defense, you can't say the same. It's just very inconsistent. And a lot of people, I mean, everybody wants to kill Darrell Bevell. But I would say the offense is kind of overperforming based on the talent right now. And then everyone wants to give Joe Cullen a pass when the defense just isn't good. And I don't know, like you said, let's switch up personnel a little bit. Everybody's always talking about Andre Cisco, like, where is this guy at? And we've gotten it's really weird because they're like, oh yeah, he's good, he's getting close and everything. And it's like, well, why don't you just throw him out there? I don't understand that one. And yeah, I mean, we have plenty of personnel that I would love to be able to use, but I don't know what direction they're going, like, when it comes to that.
At some point you have to, figure that out, right? You gotta It's either the scheme or it's the talent. And if it's the
Yeah.
talent, then let's see who else can get in there and do the job, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can only call so many schemes and blitzes, and I'm a big believer in bringing more than they can block, but you better be right on coverage. You can't trust your coverage. Let me
Yeah.
ask you, Dalton, who's going to cover Lockett? Let's just say Shaq take cares. Well, he lines up against DK Metcalf. I'm not going to say he takes care of him, but who's taking Lockett?
I put Tyson Campbell because I mean, literally Trey Herndon literally can't cover him. He's not fast enough. You know what I mean?
No, I know.
And then
Right.
Chris Claybrooks, I don't want him on the field anymore. And I'm not putting Neville Lawson on him. I mean, I'm having, like I said, I'm having the physicality of Shaquille Griffin kind of covering DK. And then, I mean, it's going to be Tyson Campbell is going to come into a big time situation, but hey, they draft them at a big time spot. You know what I mean? He's got all the physical tools and everything, but, it's time to learn the game. You know what I mean? It's time to take the training wheels off where, halfway through the season, I know you've been injured, but, that's kind of no fault of the Jaguars. I mean, you got to kind of stay healthy, but, and like I said, I mean, it's not like he's coming from, UAB. He's coming from Georgia. He played in the SEC Division I football at the highest level. So, I mean, I'm kind of ready to take the training wheels off of that and kind of just throw him out and see what he can do, man.
Well, look, I did like what Urban said this week. No more excuses, right? There's no more young coaches, no more young QB. We got to win. So
yeah.
I agree with that because
I
I'm
like
not.
that statement.
Yeah, I do too, and he's right. It's time to win. I mean, we keep talking, and I can't stand they're getting better rhetoric. It drives me. Like, come on, you're in the NFL. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Great. Now your quarterback's getting better. Look, and by the way, back to what you said about Bevel. Look, he's called better games the last 2 or 3 weeks. Like he has. He hasn't. He's called some pretty good games, and he's stuck with what got him down. He's using J-Rob near the goal line. He's letting Trevor run around and make plays where you know what I mean, like kind of a little Sandlot-esque. Let him ball out type of thing. He's taking chances. So I'm Bevel's. I think proved. At least the past couple weeks he's done better, and Trevor's gotten better every week. I mean, you can't deny that.
Oh yeah.
In pretty much every aspect of his game, J-Rob has been very effective. Again, I keep going back to the offense is good. It needs to be a little bit better, but it's going to come down to this defense. And to me, look, I think. Someone's asking, what's it going to take? Well, look, I think we can beat Geno Smith, okay? The running game doesn't scare me. We're good against the run. Geno Smith should not beat us. Now, with that being said, every quarterback has had success since the beginning of the preseason with Case Keenum and the Cleveland Browns all the way through last week, including Tua. We've been picked apart for lack of better terms. Maybe not totally every week, but overall, we haven't been very good on the pass defense of this entire team. So that's got to get better. And if we can continue to grow as an offense, so we're at about 20 points. Let's get around 27 points against Seattle. Now look, Seattle still has Bobby Wagner. The safety, Adams is very, very good. Dunlap can rush. Al Woods is a good. It's not like they're not playing very well as a unit, but they still have players on that team that can hurt you. And if you're not careful, they can rush the passer and they can get after Trevor and they can give you some problems. So you got to make sure you keep ascending as an offense, and hopefully your defense starts picking up the slack.
So I guess what are your expectations, or what do you want to see out of the Jaguars at back half of the season when it comes to like record? Because I know for me we have we have 11 games left. What I want to see 5-6 or 6-5. You know what I mean? I think you're getting into kind of the easier part of the schedule. I mean, I know at first we thought the beginning was easier, but now it's kind of playing out and you kind of seeing how teams are. I think that the Jaguars can sneak in a win against a good team somewhere. I think that, we can win some matchups where it seems like talent is about equal and we can close out some games. And, I don't think 5-6, 6-5 is that out of the realm of the possibility just because, this team's played some games. We're seeing the offense kind of come together. Trevor Lawrence is already playing, ridiculous level football. I'd like to see this team go 500 the rest of the way down. That's kind of what I want to see.
Well, yeah, I'd like to see that as well, or better. I don't think we're going to get better than that, but I would take another 5 wins, of course. Even if it was 4 wins, look, it all depends how you lose the games too, right? If you're right there and it's last second field goal or whatever, you make a mistake, whatever, you turn the ball over, the ball's wet, anything can happen. The ball bounces the wrong way, whatever the case may be. It's just, you just never know. But I'd like to see, look, they can beat Seattle. I'm not going to sit here and I can't call it today on a Tuesday they're going to beat Seattle. Can they beat them? Yeah, they're capable of beating Seattle. They're capable of beating the Jets. They're capable of beating Atlanta. I was going to say Tennessee, but man, I watched that Tennessee game.
Jeez, they're playing.
They play like that. Man. They're tough. They're hitting their stride, right?
They are.
I would have said them. I believe we're going to beat Houston. Right, so you got 4 or 5 that you should have a chance to win, and if you keep getting better, look, I am a big believer in this. Any level of football, you're supposed to be better at the end of the season than you were at the beginning. A lot better, right? All those games at the end, that should be your best. Now, granted, health plays a role, how healthy you can be, but with that being said, you should at the end of the year be way better than you were at the beginning.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's the case for this team, because then you go into next year with a little, okay, I see it. We just want to see it. We want to see that it's not going to be 1-15 or 6. It's going to be better. We believed in all the hype. I did too. Come on, you got to deliver.
We did.
It's time for you to deliver. So maybe they get on a run. Hey, anything can happen in the NFL. You get some momentum. You start making plays. You find guys that, maybe you didn't think that were going to make plays. All of a sudden, they start making some big-time plays. You try different people. You try different people in different spots. You find a way to make that work. Look, you can go through the list of guys that have played fairly well. Damian Wilson, right? You'd say he's played really well. Guy makes a lot of plays. Josh Allen's played fairly well. Maybe not consistently, but has had games where he's okay. You see that flash, that little spark, that glimpse of, I see what he can do. There are guys, that are making things happen, but overall they haven't done it as a team. So look, momentum's everything. They get it together, they start clicking. Everything, Joe's calling the right plays at the right time with the right blitzes, with the right guys. And they're on the right coverage. Look, how about this? Nobody's wide open anymore.
No, I'm saying, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Coverage bucks are ridiculous.
Nobody should be wide open, wide open. Way too many times. You got to knock that down to maybe 1 a game, because somebody's always open. I get that. But, man, you watch this team, and it's like, can you please not – Kyle Pitts – when we play Atlanta, if you don't cover the tight end, he'll have 1,000 yards in a game. It'll be.
I've only seen one player on defense really get benched through the performance, and that's Chris Claybrooks. Why don't we do it all? Like if Andrew Wingard, and I'm actually a bigger fan of Wingard than a lot of people, but if he has some coverage bust, man, bench him, throw the other guy out there. I just, I don't know. I see, growing up, it's like if someone does bad, competition onto the next guy. And it seems like in the NFL nowadays, it's like competition almost isn't like a thing anymore out on the field. And I don't know, it just feels like it goes against so many, things, or maybe it's just with the Jaguars. I don't know, but it just doesn't seem like they're kind of throwing really the next guy out there.
Well, I know this that no matter what defensive coverage you're in, the tight end should never be open down the field,
Yeah,
like we
absolutely.
saw against Miami.
But
So
guys,
those are what is that? That's missed assignments.
yeah,
That's mental errors. Somebody's not understanding that they have to carry the tight end. When the tight end goes vertical, one of the backers or the safety has him. I don't care what coverage we're talking about.
yeah,
3, 4, 2, 0, 1. It doesn't matter. That guy is never roaming free.
hmm
Even in zone, you have to go to him. Right? So I could be in cover 3 and he comes up on me. My job is once he comes into my zone, I have him man to man until he goes out of my zone and someone else comes in. That's why it's tough to switch,
yeah,
It's always a hole if there's no pressure
yeah.
because it's hard to be that reactive to the guy coming across after you're taking this guy first. But he should never be open. So I put that on the players because you got to know that's your job. You have to know every snap. You have to know your responsibility. You
hmm
have to know exactly where you're supposed to be, who you have. By the way, the coverage, the counting's easy. You count from the outside. You never have one if you're a linebacker, but 1, 2, 3. Maybe there's a fourth, but that
Yeah,
fourth will come from, your backside backer will come and take that fourth. So you count it's easy to do. So I could be in cover 3, I've got 3. I could be in cover 2, I've got 2. And they switch. So if the back goes out in the flat, he becomes 2 to 1, and then the tight end who was 3. It just changes. Like
yeah,
you just got to count. So it's not like rocket science,
yeah.
to figure this out. So it's either the players not putting enough time in and going through it, or Joe's not holding them accountable enough to saying, "Hey, man, if you can't figure it out, I can't have you on the field." It's as simple as that. You
Or
can't be
maybe they're
allowed.
spending, or maybe they're spending all their time practicing against the run, man. Because this team, 3.8 yards per carry, that's fifth in the
Fantastic.
NFL. It's really good, and I think that was really
Fantastic.
the emphasis this offseason. Because, like, man, we were last year just gashed in the run, man. Like,
Totally.
it was so bad. And I think they made that a big priority this offseason. But it's almost like they're overcompensating, and it's like they're forgetting about the passing side, because 1,787 passing yards against us. That's 31st in the NFL.
Yeah.
72.9% completion percentage opposing quarterbacks. That's also 31st. Only 8 sacks. So that's 31st too.
Yeah.
So it's just a perfect storm of like not being able to generate a pass rush and guys in the back 7 not being able to cover. You know what I mean? And it's led to this kind of disastrous
There's been, but you can't bite on the run fake. There's been too much of that, and it's hard to do. But if you follow your keys and you really hone into what you're supposed to be looking at, you shouldn't really bite. You might take a little step forward, but you shouldn't be like running forward because they're just going to get behind you, and it's hard to turn around and catch up in the NFL. I don't, those tight ends, those backs, whoever, the wide receiver coming across. And, look, back in the day, you used to be able to knock those guys down. You can't hit them now. If the ball wasn't in the air and they were near the 5-yard line, you're whacking them.
Yeah.
So it's like, even if like I bite on the fake and here you come, I can at least try to knock you, around so you can't have a free release. You can't do that anymore today. So it's a different. So you really got to be on your keys when it's a pass run, read, and you got to make sure that you're not just going towards. You can't. I'll go back to a high school coach back in Wheeling, Illinois. He said, "Tommy, you can't have tunnel vision when you're playing. You can't have tunnel vision. You gotta see it all, peripheral. You can look straight ahead. You got to see what's out there, and you can. It's amazing. I'm looking at it right now. I can see what's way out here now. That you got to make sure that you see that because there's a lot going on when you're reading, especially today with the RPO. It looks like run. It's got to be really hard to figure out, but there's a way to figure it out. How they come off the ball, when do they stop, when do they pop up, when do they not be so aggressive? Because in a run game, I don't care what we're playing, they're aggressive. They're coming at you. They're trying to knock our block off, and you got to be able to decipher when it's a run, run fake and then pass that they're not doing that. And
Yeah.
it's got to be split second. So, it just comes down to repetition and knowing exactly what you're looking at and following your keys and being honed in. I question some of that. Are they that honed in mentally as to what Joe Cullen's asking them to do? I'd probably question that at this point.
Yeah. And guys, by the way, I'm joined here by Tom McManus. I haven't been able to plug the relevant yet because we've been having such a
There
good
you go.
conversation. But guys, me and Tom do multiple shows a week on Relevant. We also have a big kind of a chat server over there where Jaguar fans can talk to other Jaguar fans. So go download Relevant. The link to that is in the description down below. And go join the Jaguars Fanatics Vibe. I also have pinned up in the live chat a link to Tom's YouTube channel, Tommy Mac's
Oh,
YouTube channel
nice.
is the name of it. So we're gonna try to get him to 100 subscribers, man. He's at 70 right now. So let's see if
All
we
right.
can
Yeah,
we can
man.
get him to 100, get him to that monumental moment. I remember when I hit 100 subscribers, I had not as much facial hair.
That's
I was
right.
a young
That's
little
right.
lad, but yeah, it's good stuff, man. And he's been
I
posting
appreciate that,
on
man.
there a
Look,
lot.
I love talking football, and
Oh yeah.
football was always very good to me throughout my entire life, and football brought me to Jacksonville. I met my wife here and had my daughters, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in my life. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and without football, I probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So it's deep for me, and I love the game and the way I was brought up. And my dad, now granted, my father, he played leather helmet football back in the 40s, before and after World War II. Played at Rutgers University, and
Yeah.
you're talking literally leather helmets. Like there was no mask, there was no anything. And the way I was raised to play the game, it's always physically. Got to out physical that team. You got it was no different in basketball. You got to out rebound them. And what's rebounding? It's attitude, right? You get that base. Don't let them get by you. You got to get the ball. It's all about attitude, blocking the plate in baseball. You got to be physical. That kid comes down, you drill him into the ground and make sure he doesn't get to the plate. But it was always, that's how I was taught to play the game, and I took pride in it because to my father, if I played the game tough, he thought I played a great game, and that meant everything to me. Growing up, that's all I wanted was. I mean, my mother always said I played great. She would tell me if I didn't, if I wasn't really playing that well. But my dad, he was honest with me. You think you're playing great, and he's like, look, you can play better. I'm
Oh yeah.
proud of you. You're doing great, but you got to be more physical. Got to out hit the other team because I think Dalton, all this talk about X's and O's and 40 times and rub routes and whatever, it comes down to who's kicking whose ass on the line of scrimmage. Who controls the line of scrimmage? It'll always come down to that. You could have all the skilled players in the world, but if your line can't block, it's never going to work. You know what I mean? So it's not just the line either. It's just being physical,
Yeah.
and be out hitting the opponent. I think at the end of the day, the successful teams at any level, they out hit their opponent. Pretty
So
much.
does it drive, because you're an old school football guy, does it drive you nuts kind of the way the NFL is now, where you're two-hand tagging in training camp, and this the way the NFL game is? I know some of it's, with the helmet to helmet stuff, you can understand it just because of all the concussion stuff.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
some of this stuff, like, man, like training camp practices, I don't know, maybe with the injury you can kind of understand it. But what are your thoughts on really where the NFL is now with just the lack of physicality, it seems like?
I like some of it because training camp. I mean, I know their schedule today. I mean, they have or they would have one practice a day. They're done at like 7 o'clock at night. Um, that extends your career. You know what I mean? Wow, what a training camp that. I mean, I don't mean to sound like because that practice is hard. I'm not saying that, but to only have one practice, I mean, that's nice. I think I think they took it to an extreme, Dalton. You know what I mean? I think you could find some common ground. I mean, look, You got to hit in practice.
Hmm.
Guys get hurt. I've seen guys get hurt in the weight room and never play again,
Yeah.
just from lifting weights. Seen guys get hurt in practice. Seen guys get hurt because they got hit too hard and something gave out, or you get hurt on a non-contact. You're just cutting. It happened to me twice. Boom, just gone. Right. So it's hard to be able to have a team that shows up on Sunday and is that out physicals the other team without being physical during the week. Listen, if you can do
Practice every
that,
day.
that's fantastic. I mean, who wouldn't want that? But
Yeah.
I've never really seen it. You know what I mean? Like, I think you got to be a little physical during the week. So when you show up on Sunday, you know what that physicality means.
Hmm.
You understand it because you've already been through it. Now, if you can, I remember hearing about the 49ers. They wouldn't hit at all, but they were winning these championships, so something was working. We'd be jealous. We'd hear reports after 1 week of camp, they're out of pads. We're like, what? We got 4 or 5 more weeks to go. And we're
Yeah.
banging. Quick story. Dick Vermeil, when he was with the Rams,
Hmm.
3-hour practices in training camp every day. And they were 2-a-days, full pads, hitting, running. He was Zach Wiegert, who became a Jaguar, who threw the best 1-2-3 combo. Remember when he knocked out who was the guy from the Ravens? He went to Florida State. He had a fist fight with him on the field. Do you remember? Anybody listening remember that?
Was he a quarterback?
No, Zach Wiegert was an offensive lineman. He was a guard.
Okay.
And he came from the Rams. He went to Nebraska. Big.
Yeah, I'm 27 years old. You have to remember that.
Okay, well, let's see. So he was 99 through 03 with the Jags, maybe.
Yeah, someone's got to remember.
Yeah, someone's got to remember him. Anyway, Peter Bulwer. He gave Peter Bulwer 1-2. He knew how to box. This big old cornbread dude from Nebraska knew how to box. Peter Bulwer did something during the game, and we always had a battle with the Ravens. It was always physical. It was always fisticuffs. There was always something going on after plays, and he gave him the 1-2-3, and down he went, and he got kicked out of the game. But anyway, look, at the end of the day, the league is trying to protect the players. I get some of that, but at the same time, it's really hard to prepare your team when you can't do everything you want to do. They're very limited. And by the way, because of that, I expect the players to do more on their own.
Yeah.
They have to survive now in today's league. There's no extra meeting time. There's no nighttime meetings. There's a limit to how much you can meet, how much you can practice, condition, lift weight. I mean, you have to do a lot on your own in addition to what you're doing at the stadium or with the team. You got to, man, you're talking about trying to get ready for a game and having limited access to preparation other than what I do on my own, which means I've got to do a ton more than I probably had to do on my own back when they made us sit there and meet and you know what I mean? Triple the amount of time maybe they're doing today.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword. I think they went a little bit too far. They got to find a little common ground. Look, at the end of the day, guys are going to get hurt. It's part of the deal. That's the risk we all take. We've taken it since we started playing the game. You knew you could get hurt from the very beginning. It's part of comes with the territory, unfortunately.
I remember back in 2019, the Jaguars are in the preseason played like nobody. It was they had Nick Foles play 2 drives, and then that's it. And then next thing you know, after protecting them all training camp, protecting them all preseason, first quarter, Nick Foles gets hit and he's out for however long. So it's, I mean, yeah, it's a weird ground for sure. But hey, I mean, maybe careers are lasting longer, and I don't know. It just seems like in college, players don't get hurt as much as they do in the NFL. I don't know. I think they're doing a lot of hitting during spring trainings and stuff. Maybe they're younger, more nimble. I don't know. Maybe who knows about that?
They're more pliable, Dalton. That's what it is. They're more flexible than.
Yeah, that's funny because you see little kids they'll be hitting each other, bending all different ways, and just get right up and run off. So
Yeah, exactly.
maybe they're just a little more nimble. But I
Yeah.
guess final thoughts before we get out of here, man. This coming up game against the Seahawks, I'll actually be live on location, man. I'll be going to this game. So
All
uh,
right.
yeah,
Nice.
man. We'll get we'll get a pregame show there. We'll get a halftime show live
Beautiful.
from Lumen Field, I believe it's called. Always wanted to go there. I'm really excited about it. Shout out to Levi Griffith with a £5 donation, euro.
All
Thanks so
right.
much, man.
Thanks,
We're
Levi.
we are international. It's always a good feeling.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But I'm excited for it. The Jaguars have a chance. I mean, people are saying the Jaguars should win this one. Jaguars, they shouldn't win any game. They're not necessarily better than anybody. We have to go out there. We have to get a game plan going. We have to execute. We have to play, limit our mistakes. Maybe get some more big plays on defense. It's driving me nuts how we're not getting sacks and forcing fumbles or whatever. And we get on a couple of fluke interceptions here and there, but I don't know. Just win a turnover battle. We got to do all that, but we have a golden opportunity against Geno Smith, who's not Russell Wilson. So I don't know this game. I'm excited for it. I'm pretty optimistic. I guess what are your thoughts kind of on a Tuesday, 5 days before kickoff?
Well, look, I think you hit the nail on the head with Geno Smith. I'm bringing the house. I'm just taking my chances. I wouldn't do that with Russell Wilson. He's too good. His release is too quick. His decision making is too right on target, and obviously very accurate. So I'm not sold on Geno. I'm not worried about the run game. I'm almost telling my D lineman, hey, we're going to do the old, Tony Dungy, Tampa Bay, Indianapolis Colts. You play the run on your way to the QB. That kind of thing. One of my daughters coming in from dance. That's a nightly. My daughters dance every night. They're like always working
They're
and
working hard
whatnot.
in the Jaguars right now.
That's right. But I think you got to really sell out to get after Geno. I think our offense will do fine. Bevel I like the way he's called the game the past couple of weeks.
A revenge game for him.
I think overall it's been pretty solid. Don't get cute. Let Trevor be Trevor. Take your shots. I'd like to see the tight end involved a little bit more. I want to see J-Rob get some more touches. I want Chenault to get involved with more in the passing attack. But overall, the offense, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep ascending. And then a defense, it's time to just sell out. Like, screw it. Like, what do you got to lose?
You're not covering anybody
Geno
anyway.
Smith
Might as well bring
gonna,
everybody.
I mean, like there's they're thinking like, well, if I blitz Tom Brady, or let's even use Aaron Rodgers, or let's whoever, name a top QB in the league that knows where to go with the ball, can get it out quick. Is that, you know what I mean, on a blitz? So blitzing them is not always the right thing to do. You got to surprise them with a blitz, type of thing, or confuse him somehow. But with Geno, I'm not worried about that. Guy hasn't played a lot of football. You could try to maybe disguise some, coverages in the back end, but just, man, go after him. Go after him and make his day uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I'd like to, like you said, I mean, we're not covering anybody anyway, so might as well rush some people, get some pressure on the quarterback that way. And also, I want to see them keep getting Jamal Agnew more involved, man. He's been awesome. He's been electric, man. Just the way he navigates around the field. I mean, he catches everything going to him. We've had a real issue with drops this season, and he catches everything. And obviously, he bursted on the scene with those kickoff returns. So yeah, man, I'm excited to see this offense continuing to progress. I mean, this year's 1-5 is so much better than last year's 1-5, just because we get to see the maturation of number 16.
The offense is getting better for sure, and led by Trevor. Look, hey, how about do we have a receiver on the practice squad that can step up and
how about Cotton? Remember Cotton?
I mean, let's go. Somebody.
How about Tyron Johnson? Where's this guy been?
Where's he been? Right? Where's the speed? Let's go. We need speed.
Yeah.
So hopefully, look, I don't think I can pick him to win, Dalton. I don't have a score, but I'm just not sold. But I'll tell you what, if they go out to Seattle and they beat the Hawks, That'll be a very. I don't care that Russell's not playing. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
Based on where they're at, what they've done, and where they're going, that'll be a huge win, and that'll say a little bit about this team. They got to follow up again, but I tell you, it'll say a lot about this team.
Absolutely. I'll be excited for it. But all right, man, I'm gonna let you go, guys. By the way, just give another shout out to the Relevant app. We'll be on there sometime this week, probably doing a preview, kind of more in-depth preview once we kind of get down to it. But download Relevant. The link is down in the description below. Join the Jaguars Fanatics vibe and come and have some discussions with other Jaguar fans. Also with me and Tom, we're both very active on there, and you can kind of listen to some of our live shows as well. And also subscribe to Tom's YouTube channel. I have that pinned up in the comment section. So that would be awesome if you guys can do that. But Seattle week, man, we're back to football. We still have 11 games left.
Yeah.
A lot of football left to be played. So hopefully we go in an upward trajectory instead of wherever the hell the Jets are going.
Yeah. Oh, man. And the kid gets hurt. That was too bad. Looks like he's going to be okay. But
that's the nightmare game. That's the game. Quarterback
totally
gets hurt, put up a 50 burger. No.
Yep.
Just get me away from that.
Yeah, we're glad we're not the Jets or Detroit for that matter, who is trying everything to find a way to win. Look, hopefully the momentum continues. Look, I'm not. It's hard to win in the NFL. So even though the Dolphins, I don't believe, are a very strong team, it's still hard to win. And the Jags found a way to win. So let's see if they can carry it into Seattle and come away with a victory. If they do, like I said, it'll say a lot about their team. If they don't, well, we kind of know where they're at anyway. So let's hope for the best and they make it happen. And that, again, sell the house. Go after Geno and make him beat you.
Absolutely. But all right, guys, thanks everyone for being here, man. Thanks all for all the comments and everything. You guys
Cheers
are the
out there.
absolute best. And go Jaguars. We'll see you guys.